Hey, good afternoon. So what I want to cover today is the amazing stuff that I went over this weekend at the Cody Askins Power Players Conference in Naples. First off, thank you so much, Cody and Landon, for putting that on. Cody, his entire team, Cassidy, Andy, you guys did an amazing job there. It was absolutely phenomenal. Loved it. Learned a lot. I want to share a little bit about what we learned there for those of you who weren't able to make it, and also an appreciation for Cody and Landon, and maybe some of the people who were there could use this as a resource to kind of go back to. So I want to cover a couple things here. Number one, it just got me thinking bigger. You know, Cody had referenced a company that he had spoke with that was doing this like insane amount of business, like all around the world. So it was super cool. Got me thinking way bigger. And I also met a guy there this weekend who has a monstrosity of a final expense team that just got me just thinking like huge. So thank you so much for you guys being there and sharing that stuff. And it's really cool to be around people like that keep your brain turning and going, because it's like just thinking outside the box. Like you think like you can go here, and then it's like, I want to travel the universe. Well, whoa, what if there's an infinite amount of universes, right? So just get you thinking a little bit differently. Another thing, business is personal. Business is always personal. You want to keep it personal with the people that you work with and understand their viewpoint. All right? You want to work on business retention, keeping clients. We learned some really cool things on how to keep clients and keep in touch with them and get them to want to keep their policies with us. Talked about how people have different types of personalities, and you have to kind of learn how to work with those people and those people who have those different personalities. Learn that relationships rule the world. This was a big thing. A big takeaway for me was that, hey, look, so many people out there are just doing transactional-based selling, transaction selling, when what we want to do is relationship building, relationship selling, and really build those relationships along the way to separate ourselves from the marketplace. And it's so easy for insurance agents to want to skip that step and just be like, hey, I'm going to sell you this product, and this is what it is, and this is what it costs, right? But you see a decline in production when that relationship is not focused on. So thank you so much for many of you just ingraining that into me once again. Also, referrals are huge, and how we ask for referrals is important in the fact that, look, people build huge agencies and huge books of business just on referrals. Some people don't pay for a single lead, and they have a huge book of business. So that was huge to learn that. A couple other things here that I have learned. Well, you want to surround yourself with great people. So you want to bring people into your organization that are great, that are important, and that you feel can help build you along the way. You don't have to work with someone just because they are applying to work with you. I learned about different forms of marketing that we can do, how huge podcasts are, how it's an easier way to get some content out there without having to sit there and edit a bunch of things. I want to promote myself more on social media. I want to get more video content out. I want to get more just anything out there to be able to help people. Podcasts, I learned, are a very, very good way to do that because it's just audio. You don't have to go through like a lot of the editing stuff that can be more time consuming on the YouTube aspect until I teach my assistant to do that, which is another thing as well. I hired an assistant before I could afford one, and I was glad to hear that validation, because I'm always asking myself like, hey, do I need an assistant to do this? Should I have? But I'm always falling back on, yes, I do, because look, I need that it can increase the amount of money that I can make per hour, and the amount that I'll make is actually less than what it costs to have an assistant for that time. So also another thing that's important is that everyone is going through something that someone else doesn't know about. You know, we all have issues in our lives that we go through every day that other people don't know about. So that was huge. Tim Grover talked about that, and man, it just really hit home because I work with a lot of people. I have a lot of agents, and sometimes it's easy to be like, you're lazy. But that's not the case. You got to reach out to that person and really see what's going on, because usually laziness or complaint is not a form of misconduct. It's just a misunderstanding, either by you on what the agent's going through or on the agent what's expected of them for their position. I learned that I just have to keep going, keep recruiting. I learned that I have to build people one person at a time, that you can't mass produce producers, right? It's built up over time. A gentleman I spoke with who has a massive team, he's like, dude, like I was just, pick that person and build them up, which my partner, James Whitley, has been telling me, and I sometimes I learn things the hard way, and I've learned that the hard way, and sometimes it takes more than one person telling me for me to get it right. I don't know why I don't listen to people, but that's a mistake of mine as well. I learned that there are so many different ways to make a lot of money in this industry and to help a lot of people. I met some great health insurance advisors who are running huge health agencies. I met a guy who's crushing it in annuities. I met people selling Medicare, which is health insurance, crushing it, final expense, financial planning. So it was cool just to see so many big people from the industry come together and want to help each other. And the cool thing that really opened my mind too is like, hey, we all are on these different IMOs, FMOs, stuff like that sometimes almost like seem like they're battling each other, but that's just the entity. And when you actually meet the people involved in those groups who are trying to network and meet other people, you can really, really feel the magic in the room. So you got to get in the room. You got to get to an event like this. Any of you who are watching this, go. Just put yourself in the room. I haven't been to as many events as I should have. Events changed my life, literally changed my life. I get the chills thinking about it. I would not have, look, events changed my life. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to get into that here. It's a whole nother video. Anything else that we went over that was important? There was just so much good content there. But just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And most of the people that were in the room there like to help people. You want to set expectations for your agents up front as well. If you're building a team, that's huge. Setting extremely important to set large expectations for them so they know what they're getting into. And I've run into that, and now I have to do that more moving forward. You got to see like where you are now, where you want to go, and then what are you going to sacrifice to get there? Because if you're somewhere you are right now and it's not where you necessarily want to be, either you got to work more, but if you're already working enough, you got to get better at what you want to do. All right, you want to put time into the people who are actually putting in time, and also make things in your agency, normalize things that others may think is crazy. Right? So if having a certain amount of activity or spending a certain amount of money on leads or making a certain amount of calls is what's expected of people, and that's kind of like above and beyond what like society may think is a normal thing, normalize it within your organization and make it normal. Make it like you're not part of the group, you're not part of the cool kids unless you do this, and you're not part of you don't fit the mold of the organization there, and you want to create that culture that's like not only gonna say, hey, this is what we do, this is normal. You're going to attract people who would normalize that and repel people who say, maybe this isn't the best thing for me, the best position for me. Which also gets me to another point that, look, you need a bunch of different people in your organization. Not everybody's going to want to go and build a team. Not everybody's going to want to do that crazy stuff. But if everybody wanted to be a CEO, you wouldn't have a janitor, right? So you got to have all these important parts in your organization and in your agency, and everybody can fit a certain role there, okay? Maybe the person who's not a crazy producer is great at pumping people up and getting team morale going, And also another thing too is there are people who don't need to be like, let's go, let's crush it, let's get pumped up. Because like me, I wake up ready to roll every day. I don't need that. Like if someone's like, Justin, you ready to crush it? Be like, bro, I've been ready. Where you been? Like that's just how I am. So that was really, really cool to see that and hear that aspect. And I was like, dude, I never thought about that. Like I'm trying to tell people, let's crush it. And like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, I know. already on the way. Trying to get it done. So that was cool to hear that. Also, too, different perspectives, right? Some people were like, look, I want to take my weekends for my family and put my time into my family to be there for them. And other people said, hey, look, I'm going to sacrifice some of that time to be able to provide extra things to my family and kind of make it up down the road when I have some more free time there. And no one's right or wrong in their perspective, right? That's how people handle their own lives. But it was just cool to see those two different perspectives there of how to handle that balance, right? And another guy said, well, there really is no balance. Balance doesn't exist. You want balance, don't build a team in insurance. If you want balance in your life, don't try to build a business. So it was cool to hear that. And it was also cool to hear people who are totally crushing it and say, look, no, I need that. I have these people that I have to put my time into on the weekends, and I'm not going to sacrifice them for any amount of money in the world. So it was just cool to see that, see those things, and that, hey, look, either way, we all sacrifice stuff to get to where we want to go and to win. So that was like a common theme. Like, look, everybody was there sacrificing time, money to be in a position where it can put them in a better place to win. So it was really cool to hear all those different perspectives. Also, another thing, what agents say will dictate where their income will be in 6 months. So the way that they're thinking, the way that they talk is going to dictate how their income trend is going to look in 6 months. Can't do it. Not going to be making much money. Let's go. I want to grow. I want to get better. Their income is going to be higher than what it is in 6 months. All right. Look, and also people do this more for more than just money. People do this to help people. People do this because they want to feel important. Not only you and other people out there who have agencies and are running agencies or are insurance producers, but the people on their team, right? People want to feel involved and appreciated. So that was super important as well. So bottom line is, think bigger, build relationships, understand there's different types of people that you're going to have a relationship with, and winning has a price no matter what. Get yourself out there, get yourself known, get in the room, get involved, and help other people win, and you'll win too. Thank you guys. I know I missed a lot of stuff. That was kind of like a 3-day wrapped up real quick. But if you like what you heard, reach out to Cody Askins and be like, Cody, I got to get to one of your events because I don't want to miss out on any of that stuff. I want to get in the room with some power players that can help me change my life. Thank you guys.